What's going on, good peeps? It's your main man, Joe Fleetwood, the hustler, and welcome to the Joe Fleetwood podcast. As always, make sure you go check out joefleetwood.net where you can find all my social media links. And if you are a gamer, make sure you check out my Twitch and Kick accounts where you can follow me there. We can hop online and do some online gaming. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, as that would greatly help my channel. This podcast is sponsored by W Jitter-Free Energy Drink. If you go to joefleetwood.net and click the link, use promo code Joe Fleetwood, and you'll get 10% off your first order. So now that the intro is out the way, let's get into today's podcast. Now, last week, there was a lot of controversy surrounding DJ Vlad and Marlon Wayans concerning the price that Marlon Wayans was asking for the interview. Vlad only felt that Marlon Wayans was only worth $5K, and Marlon Wayans countered and said, "Hey, if you want me to do the $5K, do the interview, it's going to be $40K." Now, typically in a business where you're paying for a service, you ask for a quote. When you get the quote, either the quote is in your budget or it's not in your budget. And if it's not in your budget, no harm, no foul. You move on to the next. That's typically what happens. There's nothing else that needs to be said, right? However, in certain moments, you will run into people who will say, "Hey, I don't feel that the work you do is worth that much," or the job that you're about to do doesn't cost that much. And then they proceed to tell you, either why you shouldn't charge that much, or they don't think you deserve that much, or they will tell you, "Hey, I think a fair price for the work that I'm asking you to do is this." And it's clearly based off of their own interpretation of what your value is, which they don't get to set the price. They get to tell you what their budget is. You get to tell them what you want for the work. And if they don't match, they just don't match. Move on to the next and then leave it right where it's at. However, Vlad seems to be one of those type of people that he believes he can determine what your value is and tell you what you should charge and why he only feels that you deserve that much. So let's exclude the fact that Marlon Wayans is probably from one of the most prestigious families when it comes to entertainment and comedy in general. Let's exclude all of that. And let's just talk about the body of work that Marlon himself has done. But let's also talk about how the fact that Vlad even came up with the fact that $5K is being enough for Marlon Wayans' interview. Now, Vlad did an interview with Elliott Wilson. In that interview, he mentioned that Marlon Wayans did interviews on The Breakfast Club and The Jimmy Kimmel Show. And on those shows, he only garnered 400,000 views. Now, if you only use those metrics, you might agree with Vlad's assessment. And let's not forget, we're talking about Marlon Wayans here. We're talking about Marlon Wayans on Jimmy Kimmel and The Breakfast Club. And those are just recent interviews. If you're listening to this podcast today, August 27th, I think these interviews were done within the last either week or two. So they're fairly brand new podcasts. And between those two, you got 400K views. Like I said, if you're just looking at this at face value when someone says that, then making the assessment that $5,000 is all this person deserves for an interview, you could probably come to that conclusion if this statement were all encompassing, but it's not. So let's look at the interviews that don't support what Vlad is saying. On Drink Champs, he did an interview. It garnered 2.3 million views. On Big Boys TV, that's on YouTube, it did 1 million views. Now, these are less recent than last week or 2 months. I think the Drink Champs is 6 months now, but it's already up to 2.3 million views. So some money was made there. And I'm not sure on the timeline with Big Boy. I think it was a little bit long. So if we're going to look at interviews in general and look at how many views and use that as the metric, that's one thing. So you're well past the conversation of the interview only being $5,000. So why are we only using that metric for people that we're choosing to do interviews with? Because by that stance, there's a lot of people who are uber famous that you don't even have enough subscribers to even be in the same arena as them to ask for an interview. They won't come to your show. There's not enough publicity there. So if we're gonna make a statement, let's take all the data that's available and use that to substantiate a fact. But what you've done was you've taken a portion of data that substantiates your claim, that makes your claim valid, and that gives you comfort. No, bro, we can't do that. Let's make it all encompassing. Let's look at the whole picture before we make these kind of statements. Now, obviously, on platforms that are related to Black culture in America, hip hop, comedy, and more, Marlon's interviews, they do numbers. But platforms specifically geared towards that audience, that are not geared towards that audience, are way less impressive. Because Jimmy Kimmel doesn't, the audience is not geared to that with Jimmy Kimmel. The Breakfast Club, I would say if you give that interview some time, it will gain the traction that it needs and it will do the numbers, because the Breakfast Club is geared towards that. And that's, for the sake of argument, let's just actually look at the numbers that interview did on the Breakfast Club, because I don't want to, speak out of turn, especially when we're talking facts here, right? So like I said, the Drink Champs, 2.3 million. The Breakfast Club interview, it did 300K, and it was 2 months ago. So that means Jimmy Kimmel was the one that did like 100 and some K. Yeah. So there you have it. On shows, on platforms that are geared towards Black culture in the industry, Marlon Wayans does the numbers. But the simple fact that Vlad doesn't think Marlon is actually worth it based off of views, to me is just, I'm dumbfounded that you would only use that as the metric behind that. And then let's talk about the Twitter rants. Because the Twitter rants, like, to me, everything about it showed me that you begging for attention. But we got proof that you begging for the attention though, because you didn't hide that in your interview with Elliott Wilson. You actually told your plot in that interview with Elliott Wilson. So Marlon Wayans, I'm sorry that you don't find me attractive. Unfortunately for both of us, I'm heterosexual. Between your recent gay photo shoot and your claim to fame, dressing up as a woman, this would be the perfect time to fully come out of the closet. Coming out as gay in 2024 will surely revive your declining acting career. Since I've turned down your 40K offer for an interview, I'm pretty sure that you can get that amount of money in your first gay porn scene. Marlon Wayans would be an awesome porn name, by the way. So you're going to talk about 40K. Like this man ain't doing numbers. Like this man ain't getting rave reviews for his acting in Bel Air right now. Come on, man. You can't even substantiate the bullshit you spitting out. You can't. Nothing is substantiated by what you're saying. Like this man acts, writes, and produces his own movies. So what the fuck do you mean declining career when he actually creates his own movies? Straight full of shit. And people let you get away with this shit too. That's the thing that bothers me. Now you've had a stint. Vlad has had a stint of where he has done some great interviews. He has. Not gonna take that away from him. He created a platform. It is taking off. He's got like 5.9 million subscribers. Cool. Not all of them subscribers are active. But make no bones about it. That shit then went to his head and he then got cocky. And now he's starting to feel like his opinion inside of our community holds sway when half of the statements you make ain't even backed up by valid points or even fact for the most part. Now you just spewing bullshit rhetoric. Now, like I said, let's get back to the point that I was making about what he said in the interview with Elliott Wilson. And this is verbatim what he said in that interview. And this is why I say it's some old bullshit. Right? You said your head is in the cloud. You don't know how this works. So I'm gonna turn this into a viral moment. Don't fuck with me. I don't get even. I turn it into content. This is how I look at shit. If you want to give me a viral moment, I'll take it. So basically what you're saying is you baited him to turn it into a viral moment, and you start spitting out bullshit like you did in this tweet in order to get a response and create a viral moment. That's what you telling me you did. It wasn't about the fact that you tried to lowball this man and give him $5K. He told you 40, and that should have been the end of it. But instead, you wanted to create a viral moment. Matter of fact, last time I checked, when you pull some bullshit like this, you ended up coming back on national TV to apologize for what you said to Taraji P. Henson. So you still ain't learned? And once again, people still letting you get away with this bullshit. People constantly, you look for validation for other people within our culture in order to create that divide. That's what you do. So when you got a problem with one set of people or one person, you'll wait to the next interview. You'll get them to talking about it and say, hey, did you see the interview I did with such and such? And get them to side with you to give. You want that person to validate your thoughts and feelings on the person who said, fuck you. That's what you're looking for. Yeah, bro. No, ain't nothing about that. Ain't nothing about that classic at all. So let's look at some numbers. Let me tell you why Marlon Wayans is worth the 40K. And when you say he has a failing career, everything I'm about to tell you is from 1988 up until 2023. But yet his career is failing. Actually, 2024, because I just gave you the fact that he was in Bel Air. And he's actually on tour right now, on his comedy tour. So there's no volition to anything you saying, Vlad. None. You just spitting bullshit right now. So in 1988, he did I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. After that, More Money, Above the Rim, Don't Be a Menace, Six Man, Senseless, Requiem of a Dream, Scary Movie, Tangerine Bear, Dungeons and Dragons, Scary Movie 2, Tupac Resurrection, Behind the Smile, Lady Killers, White Chicks, It'll Be Better Tomorrow, Little Man, Norbit, Dance Flick, G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, Why We Laugh, Black Comedians on Black Comedy, Marmaduke, Haunted House, The Heat, Haunted House 2, 50 Shades of Black, Naked, Sextuplets, On the Rocks, Respect, Back Home Again, The Curse of Bridge Hollow, and Air. That's from 1988 to 2024. That's everything this man has done, but you say his career is failing. Those are your words from your tweet. Let's talk about the movies that he's acted in, written, and produced. He at least did 2 of the 3. So Don't Be a Menace. He acted in and wrote. Scary Movie, he acted in and wrote. That's 1 and 2. White Chicks, acted in, wrote, and produced. Little Man, acted in, wrote, and produced. Dance Flick, all 3 again. Haunted House, all 3. Haunted House 2, 50 Shades of Black, Naked, Sextuplets, acted, wrote, and produced All four of those movies. And in Curse of Bridge Hollow, he acted in and produced. So this man ain't waiting for Hollywood. This man acts, writes, and produces his own movies. And you got the audacity to say that $5K is what this man is worth for an interview? But everything about that statement is whole shit. Foolish. Straight up foolish. Straight up. And I ain't even get into the television stuff he did. We ain't even get into In Living Color. And then his own show, The Wayans Brothers, with him, Sean Wayans, and the late, great John Witherspoon. We ain't even get into that. Fam, you out here tripping hard on everything. So it's one thing not to know that, you just don't have the wherewithal to understand that you're trying to create, you're creating a viral moment without doing it. But you intentionally threw out some bullshit, baited him in order to engage, and now you are trending in order to get views on your interview with Elliott Wilson, where you say you address the issues with Marlon Wayans. That's basically what you did. Because I went and checked your page out and looked at the trend of your videos. So in order to get that engagement up, you went off and did some whole shit. So now you in the handbag and high heels. You out here doing things that females usually do to get the attention of a man. Okay, I see where we at. So make this make sense. Because when you did it with Taraji P. Henderson, like I said, you later on backtrack and you end up having to apologize. Because this is how it was. If I do some work that's $12 million and I do it up here, you say I'm not worth the $12 million. Somebody did less work and less talented gets $20 million. And you say, well, they paid you millions. Be satisfied with that, because nobody wants to hear a millionaire complaining about being broke when they live in a $12 million house. But we talking about apples and oranges. We talking about somebody being paid what they're actually worth. Then later find out that it's basically the whole Hollywood scheme. So Hollywood, your managers and producers are all in on it. So there's no way an actress like Taraji P. Henderson is getting paid $5 million for a movie with her laundry list of accomplishments, and someone who has done less work and less accomplishments is getting 20. She's just saying it's not fair. And it's not. It is literally not fair for somebody who has less accomplishment, less work, to be getting paid almost 3 and 4 times as much as she's getting paid. That's a fair gripe. That's a fair assessment. That's a factual assessment that can be verified, the accomplishments, the pay date. That's a fair assessment that we can verify. Now, to be honest, when it comes to what Marlon Wayans said, or saying 40K, I think he charged you 40K, Vlad. And I don't think it was that he would have charged that number to anybody else but you. And the reason that he charged you the 40K is for what you just did. It is no question that you are out here doing, you are out here just doing bullshit work, man. Like some of the stuff that you say, trying to create viral moments and garner views for interviews. Hey, look here, man, just do the work. If you just do the work, the numbers will speak for you. You got 5.9 million subscribers. Out here just trying to create viral moments and content to be trending. Bro, you got to be past that. But what you have done in this particular stint wasn't nothing about that call for at all. Nothing at all. So those are the the situations in which Vlad has found himself in. I'm not going to tell you not to go watch Vlad interviews. I'm not going to tell you what to think about Vlad. I'm going to give you my personal opinion about this whole Vlad situation, right? And shout out to Marlon Wayans and all respect due to him, bro. Get your money. Hopefully, if you're touring and you're in my area, I'll get a chance to come see your show because I've seen snippets of it and I think it's a great stand-up, just from what I've seen. I'm not going to tell you not to go over there and check it out, because I think you should do your own research when it comes to Vlad. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. I am just giving you the facts off of what he said. And I'll put some of these tweets up here and you can go check them out yourself. They'll be in this video. And you can see the exchange between him and Marlon. Do your due diligence. Word of advice. Bro, stop with the shenanigans, man. Because I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before the cancel culture hits you. Before the cancel culture hit you. Dame Dash, you had run-ins with Dame. Dame got a lot going on himself. Regardless of what Dame got going on, that does not disregard the fact that everything Dame said, I'm not going to say everything. When Dame said that you were a coach of Vulture, he is not lying. At all. Now, you may feel that you're not. Here's how you get rid of that stigma. Do the interviews, support the community that you've made money off of, give back to that community, and do what you can to help and support that community. But the moment you start creating a divide within said community and start doing bullshit in it, that's what a vulture does. You come in, you make money off. You come in, you make money off said community. You do nothing but create a divide to create controversy to further promote your platform in order to make money off that divide and that chaos and the seeds of evil that you sowed within it. That's what a vulture does. You see it, you kill it, you feed off of it. That's exactly what a vulture does. So there you have it, man. Those are the facts, some of my opinions from the recent events between Marlon Wayans and DJ Vlad. As always, man, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go to joefleetwood.net. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk. Go to joefleetwood.net, click on the link for W Jitter Free Energy Drink as they are the sponsor of today's podcast. Use promo code Joe Fleetwood and get 10% off your first order. So until next time, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. Peace.